Welcome to the Writer Reads Short Stories. This reading is from Gulvane and the Dragon, the third and final part. The first prickle of curiosity touched his mind. Did you also pay them to end my life? No. The dragon looked at its boots, shifting its feet as though the question caused him discomfort. I merely asked that, should they find you worthy, I would pay them well to have them train you in their art. Gulvane watched as the dragon raised its head, met his gaze. At least I know she did not miss, he said. No, I was furious. She said she did not train to another's whim. Your skills impressed her, but only strength of heart can overcome every effect that poison has. I contemplated killing her for her impudence. Yet you did not. She was the best of her time, and you have turned out well enough. Was? She was human, Gulvane. They do not live as long as we. Gulvane frowned at the response. It was too rehearsed by far. You have a way of avoiding the truth, he said. Even legends make mistakes, the dragon admitted. I ghosted her when she accepted a contract on my life. The laws of her guild would not have let her refuse. She could have retired. It's not that easy, Gulvane said, and wondered why it was important that the dragon should understand. You managed. I took a somewhat unusual path, the kind that opens only once if it opens at all. He remembered bloody nights and weeks spent in the ecstasy of walking on the edge of life and death. He remembered striking a bargain with a wizard who thought he'd come to kill him, earning the right to inherit instead. My mistress had no such path, although she dared much wrath to object. She did? The dragon asked, eyebrows raised. She never mentioned it. When you say ghosted, Gulvane said, a terrible thought crossing his mind, do you mean I ended her life and forced her to my service in unlife? It only seemed fair. My opponents had to rethink their strategy, and you had time to learn. Now they came to the crux of the dragon's visit. Gulvane leaned forward, staring intently at the dragon's face. And this time the dragon's gaze captured Gulvane and held him until its eyes were all that he could see. Bronze pools full of banked heat and fire. They seemed to encompass worlds. You have had time enough. And you have time no more. Gulvane broke the spell, shuddering at the power he'd seen inside the dragon's skin. Impudent elf! I don't know why I persisted when I saw what you would become. Because you need me, and I have exceeded all the hopes you had for me. The dragon managed another sly smile. Perhaps I only needed a pet. I am no honey possum. You come close, the dragon smirked. And is some dragon forester coming to take me out of my tree? This time I have beaten the forester to the nest. The dragon raised its head, although I fear he is on his way. Fantastic, Gulvane thought. I've caught the attention of 2 dragons. 4. The dragon's voice spoke in his mind. But I am the only one who has shown care for you. The others would make you a spectacle. To cause you discomfort, Gulvane spoke out loud. To weaken me, the dragon corrected. How? It would be an embarrassment. But you have weathered those before. The dragon sighed. You are too impudent by far. Gulvane leant back, raised an eyebrow in amusement. It was dangerous to bait the beast when he was so contested, but he wanted to know at least something of the creature's plans. I don't see what a little embarrassment is to one such as you, he persisted. The dragon blinked. It would weaken me. That simple admission shook Gulvane to the core. You have invested that much? Look within, and you'll see the first bond threads have already formed. I should have seen them long ago. I kept them hidden. Gulvane was aghast. You had no right. I saved your life. That made Gulvane pause. The beast was right. Even the small interference of bringing his adopted father to his rescue was enough to create a debt. When he looked within, Gulvane found the bond threads shining bright and strong. There was just one problem. I'm not yet what you want, he said. The dragon smiled, a terrible smile. Don't! Gulvane's protest was too late. The dragon stepped sideways in his mind, kicking the bronzewood door wide, even as his fist hammered down on the ebony surface of the door beside it. The mist night bow slipped free of the magic, keeping it in place as the portal shattered, and memories, dark as night, flooded out, engulfing the corridors of his mind in bloody wreaths of sorrow and secret victory. This time the pain was like a physical blow. So many memories, so much coldness, so much, too much emotion, dammed up and masked behind the professional solitude his mistress had made him learn. The poison had required strength of heart to endure, and then defeat. But the trade had encased that heart in an icy shield, denying emotion. The sun shivered at the horizon's edge, lending the world a grey light until it could shine in full. Gulvane felt its promise in the coolness of the pre-dawn breeze, heard it in the growing chorus of bird and animal cries, saw it in the silvered edges of his chamber's soft grey curtains. The dragon still stood, propped against the wall, its brow furrowed with concern. Relief softened its features when he saw Gulvane open his eyes. My rival comes, the dragon said. I trust you are whole now, all your lifetimes blended as one. In his mind, Gulvane took note of the shattered assassin's door, the way the fighter's door hung half off its hinges, the fact the forester's door was wedged by the softly mounded earth of memory. A fourth doorway stood, forever open, a square framework of granite and stone. The rooms beyond each were empty, yet he could see relics of his past in every one. He would use them later, he knew, to recall exactly what he needed, until he had explored his mind enough to know where his secrets were kept. In the meantime, he reached down and picked up the crossbow, feeling it become a weight in his hands even as it disappeared from inside his head. Undoing its concealment had been remarkably easy, given how hard he'd studied to work out how to hide it there. The dragon watched, and when Gulvane looked up from the weapon, it spoke. Will you treat with me? It asked. Call me master for another lifetime. Gulvane knew a fifth door was already forming, a great archway leading to an even larger cavern. He was ready for a change, curious to see what events would give him the memories to fill a space the size of that which lay beyond the arch. There was only one thing more he had to ask. One last debt he had to pay. My mistress, Gulvane made it a statement, a demand, and to his surprise the dragon acquiesced. I will show mercy. He glanced toward the window and the sound of heavy wing beats now receding. After a moment, he looked around the room. How long do you need to pack?